Welcome to New View Advice. I'm your host, Amanda DeRocher, and I invite you to join me here each week as I offer advice on how to move through whatever problem or trauma is holding you back from living life to the fullest. Let's get started. Hey there, beautiful souls. My name is Amanda DeRocher, and this is New View Advice. If you're new here, this is a healing-centered advice podcast where I offer guidance for the healing journey. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. Today, I'll be outlining a 4-step process to stop a negative thought cycle in its tracks. This process can help you if you are having negative thoughts about yourself or if you're having negative thoughts about somebody else. But so many of us get caught in negative thought patterns and have trouble stopping it and don't know what to do. So today I'm going to be outlining a 4-step process. It is the 4 C's. The process is 1, catch it, 2, cue breathing, 3, curious, 4, compassion. So today I'm going to outline this process, and I know this is something that I go back to over and over again. I catch myself in negative thought patterns all the time. I can be very self-critical. I've talked about that a lot on the podcast, that I suffer from being my own biggest critic. So this 4-step process really helps me to come back to the present and to reset my thoughts. I also want to mention here up front that so many people struggle with negative thoughts. So many times when we have negative thoughts, we begin to judge our negative thoughts, which is the opposite of what we want to do. We do not want to add more negative thoughts to the negative thought cycle. I think sometimes our negative thoughts are like a circle, and then it can get bigger and bigger, and it can feel like a tornado within us that we just can't stop all the negative thoughts. So today I'm going to outline this 4-step process, and let's jump on in. Okay, so as I mentioned, this 4-step process is catch it, cue breathing, curious, compassion. So the 4 C's. And the first step of this process is to 1, catch it. So what you want to do is you want to catch the negative thought. You cannot stop a negative thought pattern if you don't catch it that you're in a negative thought. So many of us have thousands of thoughts every single day. Most of us, our brains do not stop unless we intentionally sit in meditation or yoga or a practice that helps us to stop it. But most of us are in thoughts all day. So many of our thoughts go unchecked, unnoticed. And so the first step of this process to stop a negative thought cycle is to catch the thought. You have to become aware of it. And so many of us are critical of ourselves, we're critical of others, we're critical of our bodies, we're critical of those we work with, we're critical all day, or we're judgmental, or we have mean thoughts. And that's okay. That's very human. No need to judge yourself. Many times we can continue these thought patterns and fall more into this cycle because we begin to judge our negative thoughts. I know that I can do that. I can catch myself calling myself not nice words, and then I can judge myself for that, and then I can think I should be farther in my healing journey. I continue the cycle. And how I stop it is catching it. So say my thought is, I'm so stupid. I have to catch it. I have to catch myself first. And I have to grab onto the thought. Or the thought could be, oh, my partner is so annoying. Catch it. Or the thought could be, I hate how I look today. Or the thought could be, I should have known better. Shoulds are great thoughts to catch because shoulds are often critical thoughts. And we punish ourselves by telling us all the things we should be doing. So great thoughts to catch are the should thoughts. So the first step is to catch the thought. Step 2 is to cue breathing. So when you catch the thought, I want you to just breathe into it. Breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe as much as you want to ground yourself. Oftentimes we're in a negative thought cycle. We're starting to spiral outside our bodies is how I view it. We're starting to spiral upwards, and we want to ground into the earth. Your breath will help you to come back into your body, come back into the present moment, rather than living in the future or the past. That's also where negative thoughts can often take us, is we are worrying too much about the future or we're reliving the past. And what you want to do is start breathing into your body and coming back into right here and right now. And your breath is always going to ground you. The breath is a tool you have in your tool belt all day long, so it's beautiful and wonderful that we can continue to come back to the breath, which will bring us back to the present moment. So you want to catch the thought, cue breathing, and you can either take 1 large breath, multiple breaths. You can box breathe, which is inhaling for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, holding for 4. That's a great grounding breath that I talk about a lot here. And there's no wrong way to breathe. Just take deep breaths. Make sure they're large breaths. Come back to your breath. Just like we have thoughts all day that we don't pay attention to, we also don't notice that we're breathing all day. So it's another thing that we can bring our awareness and our attention to because we're breathing all day in order to live, but so many times we forget that we're breathing. So bringing that awareness to the breath will help to ground you. So 1, you're going to catch the thought. 2, you're going to cue breathing. 3, curious. Become curious about this thought. Start asking yourself questions about this thought. Is this something you need to take action on? Is this thought assisting you? Is this thought helping you? Is this thought true? Is this even your thought? Begin to just bring awareness to it. Begin to witness the thought from an outside perspective. That's often what we're doing when we become curious. We're able to take a step back. Instead of reacting or living in the thought, we're able to witness it. And you could just ask yourself, is this even true? Or is this a thought I want to be having right now? And the more awareness you bring to it, the more distance will be created between you and the thought, and you'll be able to take a step back from the thought. So many thoughts we have just go unchecked and unquestioned, but when we bring awareness to it, so say I was to bring awareness to the thought, I'm so stupid, I was to go, am I really stupid? And then I'd look at what I did. So say I sent an email with a typo and I said, I'm so stupid. I'd be like, oh, I'm not stupid. I just made a mistake. Oh, that's not a big deal. And I'm able to see it rather than be absorbed in it or living in it, if that makes sense. So that curiosity will help to create distance. And that breath also helps you to begin to create the distance from living in that cycle, which can feel like that tornado I described. So 1 is to catch it, 2, cue breathing, 3, become curious, and 4 is compassion. So I want you to become compassionate with yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you have a critical thought of yourself or someone else, be kind to yourself. You're human. You do not need to be perfect. So many of us judge ourselves for the thoughts we have, which again just creates that cycle, which can make it feel like we're living in a tornado of negative thoughts that will never end. You have to bring in kindness. You have to bring in your own love. You have to be like, it's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. I am safe. Everything's fine. These are just thoughts. Many times we have very critical thoughts, but many times we don't act on those thoughts. Or many times those thoughts are just bringing awareness to us, something that wants to be looked at and healed. So the more compassion you can bring to yourself, the more that those thoughts, which can feel like knives stabbing at you, they cease when you are kind to yourself, when you are kind to others, when you send love to yourself and others, and you realize you're human and it's all okay, and this happens, and every human has negative thoughts. Nobody is immune to negative thoughts, and you just allow yourself to feel compassion. So as I mentioned, that's the 4-step cycle. 1, you catch the thought. 2, you cue breathing. 3, you become curious. And 4, you become compassionate with yourself. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I am always hoping to break down a lot of these inner world topics in easy step-by-step processes. So if you have any other topics you'd like to hear, or if you have any questions about this process, please let me know. You can email me at newviewadvice@gmail.com. And thank you so much for listening to today's episode. As always, I hope I was able to offer you a new view on whatever you may be going through. Sending you all my love. See you next time.